Hey guys, welcome back. Today we have another holster review for you. If you remember about a year ago, we reviewed the Alien Gear 3.0, and it was a pretty solid holster, but it had a couple of issues that we wanted to see resolved. Now, they've come out with a 3.5, so let's see how they've handled those suggestions. So let's take a quick look at the 3.0. I carried it for about a year and a half with a Smith & Wesson Shield. Overall, it was a very solid holster, but there were some complaints. Namely these clips. Now, they tended to cant back and forth, which would adjust the weapon in your pants. You could tighten this down as much as you wanted, but it wouldn't really affect it. So that was a major issue. The only other issues we had were pretty minor. The shell started to bend just a little bit in conjunction with the weapon after a while. Didn't affect functionality, but kind of sucked. The fringing on the outside material where the neoprene connects with the fake leather was kind of a pain. And then finally, the holes on the backside started to wear out just a little bit. Nothing that really affected the function of the holster. Overall, it was a great holster. However, it could have some improvements. And so let's see how the 3.5 is. Used this for about 2 months. Overall, it's been pretty effective. We're going to quickly talk about the upgrades that they've made, and then we'll do pros and cons. So first off, the clips. Instead of having a screw clip, now you have no hardware, where you just rotate 180 degrees and it pops out, so you can adjust your ride height. So that's one of their upgrades. Second upgrade is this fringe protection. So they have this protective coating now, and it's been pretty effective at preventing it from having that fraying that we saw on the other one. Aesthetically, it just looks a little bit nicer. The shell is a little bit more precise than the previous one. They've also got neoprene with holes in it, so that helps with the breathability of the holster, which wasn't an issue on the previous holster, but it is a nice little upgrade. They reinforced the edges, which are the flexible portions, so that should last a bit longer. And finally, they changed out the metal plate and made it a little bit more rigid. So now, as you can tell, there aren't those nice big divots from the firearm. So now we'll talk about the pros and cons. The pros pretty much remain the same from the 3.0. It's a cheap holster, it's comfortable, it's effective, and it gives you a number of options. So especially if you're new to the firearms world, it's great because you can adjust your cant, your ride height, and if this is your first holster, it's a really good option because you can really figure out what you like. That way, if you want to move on to a really specific holster next time, you're not going to waste your money and find out it's something you don't like. The cons to it, I don't like these clips. I feel like the issue we had wasn't remedied. These still move quite a bit, and at least with the 3.0 I could tighten this down, but now it's just kind of free floating here, and the cant still gets adjusted in your pants. So I'm a little bit upset that that wasn't remedied. Also, the size. Previously we didn't like the size of the 3.0. It was comfortable, surprisingly, with how large it is. However, I feel like there's a lot of wasted material here, and they've claimed that this new one is smaller, but honestly it seems negligible, if at all smaller, so I don't really believe that to be true. I would like to see a minimalist approach to this holster, just to see how it would function. It might not even be comfortable, but I'd like to see if we could get clips on the actual hard points itself and cut out these side materials and make a much smaller holster. So those are just kind of personal things that honestly you might not even notice as a purchaser. However, for me, they were kind of important. Finally, the last and only thing I've seen that affects the functionality of the holster besides these clips is the Tang up here. So this protects your body when you're drawing your weapon. As you can tell, there's a little bit of scratch marks there from when you're pulling your weapon out. And the design of this needs to be a little bit improved. So one of the selling points of the Cloak Tuck is that you can change this shell out for over 500 firearms, and you just need the base. So that way you just purchase a new shell and you can switch this out with another firearm, which is great. But what you lose is the ability to have a really customizable holster. So this doesn't perfectly fit the Smith & Wesson Shield, and I'm sure there's a number of firearms where it has the same issue. If you look, if we flip this over, while you're holstered, this actually comes down a little bit lower than I would actually like, because when I'm trying to get a high grip on my weapon, it's bumping into this just a little bit. So this Tang is actually protruding just a little bit too much. So what I would like to see is, on future models, having this Tang cut into just a little bit, because honestly having this material here will still protect the firearm wearer without interfering with their ability to grip the weapon. So overall, it's still an outstanding holster, an improvement from the 3.0. There are a few things that I think need work, such as the clips need to have a locking mechanism. to say the least. It could be a little bit smaller, and this Tang needs to be cut into a little bit. But other than that, it's an outstanding option. If you're looking to pick up a holster, I highly recommend Alien Gear. Great customer service, great option, and it's customizable as far as changing out your holster for a number of different weapons. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you have any comments, please feel free to drop them below. Any questions, we'll try to get back to you. I've been incredibly busy lately, but I'm trying to pump out some videos for you guys because I know you guys like them, and I really appreciate it, guys. I'll see you next time.